Fresh out the box! Fresh out the box! Fresh out the box.
Hey there, everybody. Welcome to Fresh Out the Box Does TTRPG Reviews. I am the board game guru and game master extraordinaire, Jahananan.
It's me, Casualty CDG, and what are we here to do? We're here to read? I've got some bad news for you, Jahan.
Okay.
I never learned how to read.
It's
I just
okay.
look at the pictures in the tabletop books, and then I roll my dice.
It's okay, man. This one's got good pictures, and this is a learning channel, so you can learn how to read here.
Oh, good. I do like good pictures.
Okay, now sound it out. What are we reading?
BT Core Book 1 English Final.
Okay. Yeah, so we got sent this book after our review of Dead Air Seasons. World Anvil sent us this game to look at, Broken Tales. Very excited to be looking at this. The cover is fire. Super cool. I don't know anything about this game, really. I looked at it a little bit earlier. But, so this game is about fairy tales. Dark, grim fairy tales. So, once upon a time, the world of fairy tales was on the verge of ending, forsaken by children who grew up too fast and forgot the value of old stories. Within the void left by failing stories, darkness and oblivion blossomed. And then there was a child who believed and became the fairy tale king. So I don't want to get too into it.
That's kind of like a Pinocchio type of story. He believed, and he became the king of little boys.
Huh. The introduction says Broken Tales tells dark stories, reinterpreted fairy tales from an upside-down perspective. Players will become part of the Order, a secret group operating on behalf of the papacy to investigate... Papacy? Does that mean the Pope?
I believe it does, yes.
Okay.
I think that's correct.
To investigate supernatural events. Oh, this game's Italian. That's right. They don't think that word needs an explanation. It's funny because they're Catholic.
Yeah, that's because it's across the street.
Yeah. Investigate supernatural events. So it's cool. It's like you're the Pope's exorcist here, dealing with grim fairy tales run amok. Cool basis for a game, for sure. Glossary of game terms. We'll gloss right past that. Haha.
Get them.
About role-playing games, we'll go past that. Reality and fiction. They do talk a little bit about, like, this game's fake. Like, don't believe this stuff, which I think is funny. It's not the first time we've seen that in a book. But yeah, rules for hunters. So you're a hunter. The rules for playing a hunter are presented entirely on the following pages. The same rules can also be found on the player sheet. So, what's on the hunter sheet? There's a brief history. Okay, this is literally outlined in the character sheets. We don't need to read that. How many dice can be rolled? You can roll as many dice as you wish to reach the outcome you desire. Okay, so you get to roll a lot of dice. You count total successes. If it's a draw with the opposition level, you'll get an outcome with a cost. Okay. So let's get into the system. Let's see. Maybe we should read some of this. I'm trying to see where it starts. Oh, this kind of sounds similar to what the system they use for Dead Air Seasons.
That's what I was thinking. They're sort of a small company, and small companies, I would say, tend to stick to a house engine.
Yeah. This seems to be their house system. Which means this game's going to be fairly narrative, which is good. Maybe this one's got a little more actioniness to it, because the other one's more about surviving the seasons. This one seems to be about surviving hunts. So when the storyteller asks for a position or defense check, check if one hunter's descriptors can help them in the action being performed. If so, the hunter starts with 3 base successes. If no descriptor is relevant, only 1 base success is obtained. It's possible to obtain additional successes or penalties to modify the number of base successes. Once this is done, the number of successes compared to the NPC's or threat's opposition level. 3 is easy, 5 medium, 7 hard. So it's not too bad. For an action to have a positive outcome, you must obtain a total number of successes that is at least equal to the opposition level you are facing. And then you can spend points from your reserve to obtain additional successes. You can decide to roll more 6-sided dice. You gain 1 additional success for each dice rolled. However, if even a single... Oh, okay. So when you take the dice, it's automatically a success. But you have to roll it. And if you roll a single 1 anywhere, you fail. The entire check fails. That's interesting.
No.
Interesting.
Brutal.
Yeah, but I mean, some games want it to be hard like that. Like, especially when you're going up against Supernatural, kind of makes sense.
And there might be ways to get rerolls or things like that built into your character.
There seems to be some mitigation abilities and stuff like that. And yeah.
Yeah, maybe you get a chance to re-roll a 1 on something you're trained in or something. I'm sure there's a way where 1s aren't always a fail. And if they are, then, kudos to them. That's neat, too.
And then also, you can get into trouble during adventures and highlight one of the downsides of your descriptor. I'm gonna look at the character sheet. It should be in that folder, the same folder, Gary, if you want to look at it.
Yeah, let me take a look at that. I've been trying to download the full book, but for some reason it says it's going to take 38 minutes, even though it's a very small file. My computer's just on one right now.
Oh, this is a quick reference. This isn't the... Okay. Character sheet's probably at the end. But, hey, we'll continue. The artwork, really nice in this book. Very, very nice. Gotta give them mad props for that.
Loved the artwork in their other one as well, in Seasons.
So, as naturally, the storyteller's job is to ask hunters where they want to go, what they want to do. The NPC's agendas and scenario events should be consulted frequently. Each new scene must be contextualized. Obviously, these are all pretty normal duties of a storyteller. NPC agendas. To manage the game flow, each scenario presents a series of agendas, goals that the scenario's NPCs try to accomplish. An agenda can progress in 2 ways. When it makes sense for it to happen in the narrative or during an interlude, the agenda is the most important reference for the storyteller when deciding how to handle the events of the scenario. It describes what the specific NPC wants regardless of the hunter's actions. Consulting NPC agendas can lead to spontaneous situations without having to plan scenes in advance. So it sounds like it's a good tool. Hi, Denny. Mm-hmm. Hi, Ty. I didn't notice Ty was in here. What's up, Ty?
What up, Ty? He went to a convention and saw Tony, and he was like, "What's up?" And they texted me.
Oh, that's cool. Tony +1.
Well, no, Tony didn't text me.
No. Well,
the Ty did.
Hi, Tony.
Because Ty's the man.
Ty's the man.
Yeah, right. Like, text me next time, Tony. You Tony. He used to be a fellow beardman with us in the TTRPG scene, but now he's doing his own beard thing over on his own beard channel. We got to get him back over here to tie up beards to get all tangled up.
I do miss Tony, but also he seems like he is having a lot of success with his channel, so good for him.
Yeah, no kidding.
He's
his
very
beard's
busy.
Already all tangled up.
Yeah. Scenario events. Events are brief descriptions of something that will happen if certain conditions are met. There's sudden twists in the scenario, shaking things up for the hunters. When the conditions described in the event occur, the storyteller should include it in the scenario as soon as possible. Cool. It's kind of like it reminds me a little bit of like churn kind of thing. It's something in the background that when conditions are met, it happens. And I like it because like I always feel guilty when like I'm like, it'd be really cool if their boat caught on fire, they lost all their supplies. But I don't want to just do it.
I love the idea of churn, but when you actually play it the way that it's meant to be played, it just is out of control in the Expanse. You'll have churn like literally every 1 or 2 sessions. The churn pops off, and you almost have no time to complete whatever you're trying to do because there's so much extra crap popping off. I like the idea of it, but maybe you spend 3 churn to do something as a game master. Maybe you have like a churn chart. Yeah. You could spend 1 to do something. You could save a few rounds of churn up to do something.
The problem with the churn in the Expanse was that I didn't use it. Like you can use it like game master points to screw people over, and I was never spending it. That's why it happened so often. I probably should have spent it more, honestly. But also, really what was happening was I was just kind of using it to time events I wanted to happen anyways. You know what I mean? And so...
Yeah, there you go.
I don't know.
That's a good way to do it.
I like it. And this sounds like it's condition based. You know what I mean? Which is cool.
I love Age. I love churn in Age, and the same way that I love using stunt points to do things, I think that a game master might have some fun with a churn chart and being able to save up a few rounds of churn to do different kind of things, so that you could feel bad, but also you could do more mega things and not feel as bad. Like, making a ship break down in space with no tools, that's definitely going to be like a 3 or 4 churn thing. That's bad. Versus just like springing a leak or getting jumped by pirates, not necessarily so bad.
Yeah. I mean, they had rules for all that. It was really cool. And making people run out of ammo, which is funny. So, position checks. When a hunter performs any kind of action, the storyteller needs to decide if they want to ask for a check. In making this decision, it is vital to keep all relevant descriptors in mind. If the hunter acts to obtain something, but might fail due to an NPC or a threat, that's one. Then it's time for a position check. This applies to any action in which the hunter is the active party. Ideally, the hunter would narrate a detailed dynamic action, such as, I run up the wall, leap off, cutting with my sword at the giant's head. Not every action requires a check, just those that face opposition that could prevent the hunter from succeeding. And if the storyteller's narration includes circumstances that may injure or inconvenience the hunter, call for a defensive check instead. This applies to any reaction. So once again, I do, as the storyteller, do not roll.
And that's cool, because could either make them make the active check against the giant to attack, or you could make the defensive check against the wall to crumble when they try to kick off the wall or slip or something. So you could actually call for either one depending on what you thought would be more inconvenient to them. That's fun. I like that. That's neat.
I like it too. I have mixed feelings about no rolls for the GM. Sometimes when it's done well, it's very nice. And then sometimes it's boring for me. But in this instance, it seems like it's pretty fun. So
you got a super narrative system here also. So bogging it down with dice rolls, I don't think they need to. I think they're doing the right thing, keeping it narrative, keeping it flowing and moving. The less rolls on the game master side, the better.
Yeah, in a narrative system, I don't want to roll. You know what I mean? Like exactly.
Almost nobody wants to roll in a narrative system. Your players should barely need to roll.
Yeah.
They either do it or they don't. And how do we get there without rolling?
Depending on the outcome, the position and defensive checks, a cost or increment may be generated. The storyteller decides its nature. A cost is some sort of disadvantage or some sort of bad thing. An increment is some kind of narrative advantage. such as spending less time performing the actions, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Managing information. I don't know if this is important, but we'll look at it. The artwork on this page is really nice. I think it's, 16? Yeah. Broken Tail scenarios will often be investigations that the hunters perform on behalf of the Order. With this in mind, it does not make sense to ask for position checks to find clues that, if undiscovered, would stall the situation. In general, when a hunter is looking for information, ask yourself, does one of the hunter's descriptors justify the knowledge of the information? If so, the hunter will get it. Does it take time to get the information? The storyteller communicates this drawback to the hunter, who decides what to do. And then, is getting the information dangerous? The storyteller introduces an NPC threat to the scene. Does a hunter need external help to get the information? The storyteller will reveal who can provide it. This can often lead to a new scene. I like all of that. That's a good investigation system, in my opinion.
Yeah, I also like the way that this system works.
Yeah, so far so good. So far so good.
This is really similar as well to their seasons system.
Yeah, they're using the same house system, so like we were already a fan. Yeah, we were already a fan of that system, so it makes sense that we would like this one too. Further details on game rules. We don't have to look at this. We're gonna skip through some of this.
So since this is like a fairy tale fantasy game, are there spells and things?
I don't know. I would imagine there's some level of magic, but who knows?
That's definitely something the zombie game did not have.
Yeah, that's true.
So now I'm wondering. That's just one of my questions now. Where we stand with magic in this world?
I'm looking at, let's see, there's the hunter. This artwork is really nice. I love the minimalist, like, black and red. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It reminds me...
That house is cool.
It reminds me of, I think it's, like, Spooky Tales or something. Like, it was like a book. It had, like, this, like, creepy-looking man with, like, a red nose on it.
Yes, there were 3 series of them, and it was, like, a white and black cover with, like, a red thing. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I used to read those all the time. There was one about like a giant, and his like toe was in the chimney or something.
Oh man, I might remember that. Interesting.
Right. Actual hits. Yes. So in our system that Jahan and I are creating, you throw die at one another. So you can't play it online. You do have to be there in person. And you do have an advantage as you've been collecting a lot of dice for years.
Yeah.
But for me, I've got an advantage because some of mine are like metal and they are solid and they are heavy. So I've got that going for me. But yeah, that's how it works. You wing dice at each other. Oh, that's a good one.
This is a solid metal dice.
Yeah, you just wing dice at each other. Whoever runs out first loses, and the other guy is successful.
Yeah, it's not really a TTRPG at all.
That's why the game master gets so many. Well, no, then you either succeed your skill or don't, and then you go collect your dice and do it again.
And if you level up, you get a slingshot. Okay, here we go. So I was looking through. So hunters have things called descriptors that like represent skills and that kind of stuff. But here's what you're asking about: gifts. Gifts are special skills and abilities that give hunters and NPCs depth. Every gift has a full description. On the hunter side, gifts influence different game situations, from obtaining circumstantial bonuses to recovering soma, which are the spendable hunter points. Generally speaking, NPCs and threats have gifts that have simpler effects than the hunters. Page 29, 32, and 73, you'll find all the expanded rules to create gifts for threats. Okay. So there's wounds. So this game, it seems like there's more focus on combat a little bit. Not so much like the crunch of it, but you can take damage in this game a lot differently than it felt kind of like in Dead Air. Like, if the situation calls for it, you kind of die.
It did seem that way for sure.
Yeah, this one seems like it has wounds, weapons, armor, that kind of stuff, which is interesting.
Okay, I like that. They had a little crunch to their system. Those are my questions.
So generic gifts. Adverse, the threat consumes the power of those who approach. A hunter loses one soma at the start of each scene. Not turn, scene. While an NPC lowers their opposition level by 1 on the first action taken. Clock, the threat accumulates tokens of a certain type, which there's more about that on 76, in relation to the action of the hunters or the passing of time. Once you've reached a predetermined number of tokens, activate a special event listed in the gift's description. Okay, so clock just means that they have a ticking clock of some kind.
That's really cool. That's literally exactly what I was just talking about for
Pretty much for the Expanse.
Yeah, it was a yep.
Yeah, you
So
can
it
have like a
sounds like you might have
mutation
some
clock or
options.
something.
Uh-huh. Maybe as you level up, you can get one that costs like 2 ticks and one that costs more to do a better thing. That's cool. I want to hear more about this.
Now, you can also create effects. There's damage effects. There's disturbances. There's a fulcrum ability, which the proximity of the threat enhances a certain ability, such as magic in a place charged with arcane energy. So yeah, there is magic. Then there's NPC stuff as well. We don't have to necessarily get in. We're not, obviously we're just skimming. So I'm trying to find.
I would say so far, I'm liking our first look at this book.
Me too.
At Broken Tales. I think Broken Tales looks good. It's last week a friend of mine asked me, or I guess 2 weeks ago, which book I would recommend between seasons and sagas. And I said, personally, I think they're both great. They're totally different. One's narrative and horror, one is fantasy, and you could do whatever. But I think Sagas was my favorite that week. This week, I'm really high on this game. I'm really feeling Dark Tales right now, or Broken Tales.
Yeah, Broken Tales. Broken Tales look good, man.
It's got some more of that stuff that I was missing, where I felt like I was shoeholed into a horror zombie scenario before. This feels a lot more open to me already, and I'm liking that.
Yeah, I really want to play Dead Air Seasons as a certified zombie head, but I definitely feel like this game would have more wide appeal for the group. I feel like people would enjoy this. I would enjoy the other one a lot, but I think that the players would enjoy this one maybe
Also,
a little more.
playing a dark fairy tale game sort of writes itself, right? You already know that the fairy tales, all you have to do is darken them up a little bit, change them, spruce them up. So, yeah, I like this so far.
Yeah. I just came up with a really fucked up Rumpelstiltskin in my head in like seconds, and it's really gross, and I don't want to talk about it
Oh,
anymore.
hell yeah. Well, let's play this game.
We will. Yeah, we
No,
definitely.
let's play it right now.
Let's play right now.
You've already got the Rumpelstiltskin. Let's go.
Got the Rumpelstiltskin, man. I'm ready. No, this game's dope. This is the next narrative game I would like to run. Definitely, because what have we done so far? We've done City Mist, and then now we're doing Avatar, which is also a narrative game. Yeah. Dark Presences. Okay, all right. So this is kind of a bit of the crux of the game. So the creation process for Dark Presences follows the same pattern as that of Hunters. It requires you to push a fairy tale character to their breaking point. Then give it a new life in the world of Broken Tales. Dark Presences are, for all intent and purposes, NPCs with a background connected to the original fairy tale, but aren't specific to a scenario. Within the world of Broken Europe, a Dark Presence can take on a life of its own. This makes them versatile figures, which storyteller can drop in any scenario or campaign to assist or oppose the Hunters. Every Dark Presence must be born from a fairy tale. The starting point is to decide which fairy tale character to break in order to create the new version of the world of Broken Tales. Any source for the fairy tale will do, whether it's a book or just a website. Based on the original story, you have to decide what kind of Dark Presence you want to create. An opponent, an ally, or a neutral dark presence. And then there's a step-by-step guide of how to make them, and it's only, let me see, it's only 4 steps. Bring the character.
So I'm guessing that your Rumpelstiltskin would be not an ally.
He might be a neutral. He might be a neutral.
Okay. Just terrifying neutral. I like that.
Yeah. He'd be, yeah, it was gross. He was going to show you his bones. Step
It's not
one.
too late.
It's not too late. Yeah, no, I'll write it out, Ben.
He can still show us his bones.
Hey, World Anvil, you want me to write some broken fairy tales for you? I'll do it.
Just do it. Just write it, send it
Send
to him,
it to
and
him.
ask for money.
Hey, money, please.
Can I have $35 for this?
Hey guys, hook it up. Step 1, bring the character to their breaking point. Step 2, assign them characteristics. Step 3, create the gifts that they have. And then step 4, give them an agenda. So it's pretty simple. That's a 4-step, 2-page process to create these things.
So smart, man. The smartest thing would be to rip those 4 pages out of that book and glue them in whatever tabletop role-playing game you plan on making in the future.
Yeah.
Because that's how you make, that's how you design a quest in 4 steps, basically. They
Pretty
did a
much.
great job pulling that down.
Yeah, I like this. It's very concise. This rulebook's very concise. They have some examples. Ambrose the Sorcerer, known as Old Merlin. That's a cool one. Frogface, inspired by the Frog Prince. Oh, his artwork's cool. Hua Mulan the Sword Demon, inspired by Mulan. Cool. That's sick. Mulan the Sword Demon? That's badass, dude.
What you should do is you should write up a bunch of American fairy tales, the Old West folk tales, and give them a book of that. That way they have a whole second thing, because these are the European characters that they're on about right now.
Yeah.
But we've got Pecos Bill and Paul Bunyan, the Wendigo, Chupacabra. Man, there's all kinds of great stuff put together.
I always had this thing for, I forget what they're called, but they're Native American dream dancers or something. They're called like Kachina dolls or something. I always had a thing for those.
An evil Paul Bunyan. Yeah, like a Paul Bunyan gone wrong, right? Like if somebody killed Babe, and so you had like an irate Paul Bunyan, or
He's like a rogue
even the other
druid.
he could even be, it said that they could be villain, neutral, or ally. Paul Bunyan could even be ally with your squad to go get revenge on whoever killed Babe the Blue Ox.
Oh, I like Undead Babe. That's pretty cool.
Hell yeah. See, all day. We could do this all day.
Could do it all day. Yeah, absolutely. 100%. Then there's Prince Charming. There's the Ancient Enemy, which is a dragon. Wild Swans. The Silent. Ooh, that's creepy. The Little Mermaid is called the Silent. That's scary.
Oh, that's nice. I like that.
Fire Eater.
She's trying to get her voice back or get a voice back, so they're trying to like drown you in the abyss, trying to pull you in.
Oh, that'd be cool if she
Do
was
that.
like the face stealer from Avatar, but she steals voices.
Mm-hmm.
Be cool.
She's trying to like reverse Ursula.
There's actually a lot of these in here, and that's something I like to see. Because I'm, like, you can tell me how to do something all day, give me examples. You know what I mean? That helps me learn.
Yeah, I'll take it. Usually I'm used to not having too many examples. And these are like big, fully fleshed out page-long things, right? I'm surprised about that.
Yeah, they're thick,
It's almost
boys.
a full... Yeah, you could make a quest out of it. Yeah, I'm surprised. I don't usually like a whole lot of pre-made quests in my book, but I do like this. I like what they're doing because even if you're not running it exactly, at least it's really inspiring.
I
You
like-
can pick a bunch of stuff out of that.
I like pre-made creatures. I like pre-made creatures. So this is Hunter's creation now. It's interesting that comes second, but I guess it's important to understand how the fairy tales work. So step 1, collect sources of inspiration. Each Broken Tales hunter is derived from a fairy tale villain. Interesting. The first step will therefore be to decide which villain to break and which source to draw inspiration from. It is important to choose a fairy tale, an essay, or another source that speaks of the villain in the most classic incarnation, trying to avoid modern takes. This is because fairy tales and classic stories feature characterizations much in line with Broken Tale's mood. Okay. So step 2. Tell the hunter's backstory and bring them to their breaking point. What is their breaking point? Okay, it talks about breaking points, blah, blah, blah. You know what a breaking point is. Detail the hunter's descriptors, and then I imagine creating gifts. Yeah. So, did I miss something? Are we playing the hunters, like, as players?
Yeah, players are hunters, that's correct. And that's the same thing they call them in Seasons, I believe, is the players, the PCs are called hunters.
But your bad guys turned into player characters. That's interesting. Very interesting stuff here. There's all kinds of abilities and effects detailed here. It's very extensive. This book is almost 300 pages long, so this is a thick boy. I believe this game's fairly new. I'm not sure. It might not even be out yet, honestly. I think it is, though. Then there's scenarios. Okay. I'm going to go to the table of contents here, because I'm just scrolling like a madman.
July Kickstarter. That's what we've been told. It was a July Kickstarter.
Oh, okay. So this probably isn't fully out yet. No, this is printed in the month of July 2022.
Oh, so it worked and they printed it then. Good for them.
So this is out.
Oh,
so this is out. You can buy it from World Anvil. What else are we missing here? So maybe the scenarios were
funding, and maybe they were trying to fund an English reprint or something in July.
Maybe. It's possible. They do stuff like that, yeah. So I left off on 117 scenarios. Let me see if there's anything. So there's a bunch of scenarios detailed out here. Of Flesh and Wood, The Smile in the Darkness, A Soldier's Duty. So there's a bunch of scenarios to pick from. And it sounds like this game's actually made to kind of play these pre-made ones, which I'm totally cool with. Summary sheets, maps, and backers. Okay, so we pretty much read through everything. I guess 243 would be the best place to go to. It talks about playing Broken Tales, playing a campaign. So this game does have campaign, like it is playable for that. It's not just one-shots. It talks about clues, and then it said there's a sheet around here, a character sheet. So I wanted to look at that because Gary loves to look at the character sheets, and I do too.
I do. I think a character sheet is a make or break for your game. I think a bad character sheet and people won't play. They won't play for long. If there's not information that is vital, if it's too busy, if it's too many pages, I think there's something about putting it all clean on one page and maybe a front back, because everyone writes on the back of their character sheets. But even then, I think maybe the back should just be blank lines just for writing. But yeah, a character sheet's important to me, and a good character sheet matters a lot.
The character sheet here is on page 261. So it has the front sheet, which is the descriptors, which they talked about before, gifts, something called a dark ego, wounds, and equipment. The next page is split in two. It looks like it's just additional notes, really.
Yeah,
it's a tracking sheet right. For extra
like
stuff.
It looks like maybe the first 2 pages you need, but maybe after that it's just what I was talking about, where you just need lines to write stuff down.
Yeah, this is mostly, honestly, these last 2 ones are pretty useful for NPCs and places. So it's not too busy. They give you a lot of extra room just in case you want it, but it's not too busy. Broken Tales. What do you think, Gary? Broken Tales from Anvil, World Anvil.
Yeah, man. I don't need to give it an out of 10 rating or anything. That's not the kind of channel we are, but I would give it a 7 out of 10. That's how I'm feeling about it. I'm feeling pretty good about it. I like their system. I like a good narrative system. It seems that they've got it. I would have to see how like the wounds and armor and weapons and stuff work in action, because it's kind of hard to just read it and try to imagine it all. But as far as the wheels on the system, I like it. It seems like you just say, I'm doing the thing, and the game master says it's an attack or a defense. The thing that you're doing is either an attack or a defense. And then you roll a couple D6s, don't roll a 1, and you do the thing. Good for you.
Yeah.
Did I miss anything? That's pretty much it in a nutshell.
No, it's
right?
pretty
Yeah,
simple.
it's pretty
Honestly,
simple,
we could
man.
probably play a bastardized
Like,
version really quick if like we don't care too much about the specifics.
Like
pretty
the
cool. Pretty
when I
easy.
think about Powered by the Apocalypse, and they have all those different moves to choose from, like, you know, charge up or attack all out, or you know, all those different things, I think is very silly for a narrative system. There's too many moves. You know, this game has it. It's either an attack or a defense. That's it.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Maybe I'll change my 7 to an 8. Really, I would like to see more from this company. I want to see a fantasy setting, a more traditional fantasy setting. And when I say that, I just mean, you know, wizards and magic. I don't even need to, you know, I don't need orcs. I don't need kobold. I don't need elves and all that. You can make your own stuff up. But that's what I'd like to see from this game, is something kind of far out, you know, something really out there with the system that they've got in place. I like the system. I'm excited to play this someday. Whichever version of this we choose to play, I want to see how the wheels work on this. It seems just so easy.
Yeah, I want to play their house system really bad. This seems cool. It does seem easy. It seems like it has depth to it. It seems like it would be very fun to play. So I certified this fresh. Check it out if you are interested in narrative systems. It seems that this World Anvil is doing really interesting stuff in the narrative game space. Unique. It's a breath of fresh air in a world full of Powered by the Apocalypse.
It really is. We always beat up PPTA.
We
I love
do.
Fate too, man. Fate's great.
Yeah, we do beat a
I'm not
PPTA.
gonna
I don't
explain it.
hate
I've-
PPTA. It's just everywhere all the time. It's a little annoying, but hey.
It's not that I hate it.
I don't hate it
but
at
I
all.
definitely don't love it. And if I had to pick one or the other, I'm leaning towards the dislike direction.
Yeah.
I wouldn't design a game with a PBTA skeleton. Period. I wouldn't do it.
Yeah. Honestly, half the time I don't understand what's going on in those games anyways. Maybe I'm just dumb. I don't know.
All right.
Hey,
so we
haters
prepped
out
on
there, are we
PBTA.
too dumb to play PBTA? You tell us in the comments. So that was our first game.
We prepped on PBTA. I feel good about it. We talked about Broken Tales, and I feel good about that too. I like what we're doing. Let's talk about a second game. Let's keep on keeping on, man. Let's keep the good vibes up. We're crushing it. Let's keep crushing it. This one, I got to tell you, right off the bat, we are Green Ronin affiliates. You and I, we play Green Ronin games. We do it all the time. We tweet them. They tweet us. They've invited us on their channel. And vice versa. And we have a discount code with Green Ronin, don't we?
Yes. So we are being upfront about, before we talk about this game, let us be upfront. We benefit monetarily from anyone who uses our code to buy anything from this company. So we do it, obviously
Even pre-orders.
we want you to like
even
it.
Sales.
Yeah.
Sales and pre-orders, no matter what, man. That's the real thing.
Yeah, obviously we're trying to sell you on it, but the reason why we are with this company is because, one, they treat us very well and they're very nice to us, and they're just a bunch of great people there. And two, they make a good game. This I love Age. This is so Cthulhu Awakens is an Age game, which is a 3D6 system that uses stunt dice from Green Ronin Publishing. It is, we've dabbled a little bit with it. We've had some behind the scenes talks with its creator. Malcolm Shepard was one of the head writers on this. I'm pretty sure he was the lead.
Totally forgot that we had behind-the-scenes meetings with Green Ronin about this.
It was a
That's
while
awesome.
ago, dog.
Boy, we're cool. What a cool thing to say.
We are cool. Yeah, we got to talk to the creators and stuff. We also got to talk about the Broken Earth game that they have coming, which is exciting. But yeah, so Cthulhu Awakens finally came out. For the record, I paid my own money for this copy because, like I said, I actually do. I'm not selling you a Coke and drink a Pepsi. You know what I'm saying? Like, I do like this game. But Cthulhu Awakens is an Age game, and we love Age. So, right off the bat, the art's killer. Killer art. This is a 290-page book. Is broken up into sections here. Ooh, I like the colors. They always do the Age logo different for each of their settings or their games, and I like the green and black for the Cthulhu. So, let's see. Seekers is the first section. Then Revelations, Secrets, and those are the three major sections here. There's some pop art over there. Very, very cool. So chapter 1 is all about the uncaring cosmos. So this is page 14 to 37 is lore about Cthulhu written by one of the most knowledgeable Cthulhu enthusiasts I know, Malcolm Shepard. I've heard him talk about Cthulhu. It's nuts. He knows everything. So he wrote all that stuff out.
And he truly does. Let me interject here real quick. I talked to you about this a couple months ago. In my mind, the Cthulhu setting has always been like normal, regular people, like a regular reporter, a regular detective, and they are just going to lose to an inevitable nightmare. And to me, that doesn't seem particularly fun. But then you were telling me that Cthulhu's not just a hopeless, you're a regular person game, but that there are some mystical powers and things in the universe that I sort of wasn't really familiar with. So, like, generally I wouldn't touch a Cthulhu book.
Yeah.
But you started to sway me. You started to change my mind on how I feel about Cthulhu. And of course, I love Age, so I'm sort of interested. You know, I want to know. I gotta know.
So Cthulhu doesn't have to be exactly what you described. It is kind of hopeless, and like if one of the great elder beings is in your game, you lost. But usually it's a cool ride down. But yeah, there's magic, there's psychic powers, that kind of stuff. Sometimes you're not even dealing directly with like the elder ones. A lot of times you're dealing with like lesser creatures and eldritch beings, because like they're not all working together. You know what I mean? They just kind of exist, and they do what they do. Some of them have agendas. Some of them are thinking. A lot of them are, but some of them are just kind of acting out their natures. One of the greatest examples of the Cthulhu mythos I've ever seen has been Cthulhu Country, with the problematic Jonathan Majors. Unfortunately, it kills me because it was so good. But hey, you know, when you're a piece of shit, you're a piece of shit, I guess.
Yep. Is that allegedly, right? Is that confirmed yet?
I don't think it's been confirmed, but you know, I tend to you know, I side with.
Let's say that Jonathan Majors allegedly beats women. Let's say that.
Yeah. So, you know, maybe don't watch the show, but it was really good before all that happened. So, yeah. Anyways.
He's such a good villain. He's so scary. Yeah, he is. I bet that shit's not funny at home, though. Fuck Jonathan Majors, allegedly.
The other actors in that show are very good, and they kill it with their performances. The female leads in that show are insanely good. There's many female leads in that show. But yeah, so anyways, yes, that is... For anyone that doesn't know about Cthulhu, sorry I'm getting a little off topic. We're supposed to be looking at the book. I'm talking about Cthulhu. But...
No, that's cool. I asked because maybe not everybody's as familiar with the Cthulhu setting either. Maybe they would ask the same questions. That's why I paused you to ask.
Yeah.
Just because it's not a setting that I'm super familiar with.
No, that's fair. A lot of people aren't necessarily intimately familiar. I'm not even that familiar with it. There's a lot of lore I don't know about. But hey, right here, Chapter 2, Cthulhu Awakens protagonists confront an array of entities alien to the known laws of time, space, or reality itself. So that's more an apt description. Of course it is. Of course it's the most concise description from Malcolm. I don't know if he actually wrote this page, but who knows. It is no coincidence that humankind encroaches on even the most isolated parts. Oh, that as humankind encroaches on even the most isolated parts of the earth, they disturb long slumbering monstrosities and the secret orders that serve them. Something inconceivably ancient now stirs in the depths of the world once again, inscribing itself in the complex dance of celestial bodies and grinding against the walls of the human psyche. Great lines here, man. Great writing.
Yeah, Malcolm can write.
Malcolm can write, dude. Character creation in 9 steps. Concept, abilities, background, profession, drive.
Gonna be 11 steps.
It is. It once again is 11 steps. Concept, abilities, background, profession, drive, resources, and equipment. But they count that as one. Traits, bonds, and then name and description. It is 11 technically.
I gotta have a talk with Pramus about this. They just lie into our face every time they print a book.
Hey Pramus, why are you guys
Stop telling me
counting
it's
stuff
9
wrong?
steps, Pramus. It's 11 steps. So you did and twice.
They did
Blank
market
and,
research
blank
and they're
and.
like,
That's
anything
11
over
steps,
10
Pramus.
steps, people start losing interest. We got to cut this down somehow. Character concepts are pretty easy.
Damn.
It's the concept for your character. What are you? A detective, a psychic medium, a scientist, an astrologer, a housewife, an author? What are you?
I want to be like Mulder. I want to be like an X-Files detective who investigates things that are unbelievable.
Yeah, absolutely. You're kind of like a conspiracy theorist almost, but like more functional.
Like how many times does Mulder have to prove that he's right and everybody still thinks he's a conspiracy theorist? I love it. It just doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how much proof he brings back, how many reports and how much evidence. He still comes across as a conspiracy theorist.
Shit's funny. I've been meaning to watch the X-Files again, actually. I miss it. So, ability benchmarks. Abilities range from -2 to 7. So they keep the numbers pretty low. The abilities are accuracy, communication, constitution, dexterity, fighting, intelligence, perception, strength, and willpower. I believe that these are the same in pretty much all age games. I like that they never felt the need to spell anything. You know what I mean? With the anagram.
I like the stupid anagrams.
I like them sometimes too. Yeah.
I do.
What's the one for
I'm a
Fallout?
sucker for it.
Special? Right?
I'm a sucker for them, man.
No.
Yeah, strength, perception, endurance. Yeah, charisma, intelligence, agility, luck.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Special. So yeah. Then there's, they give you the meaning. We're not going to do this. Everyone, if you've played a TTRPG, you're familiar with this kind of stuff. And then it does focuses. So in Age specifically, there are skills that go with each ability. I guess they do it in D&D too, and a lot of games. But so here are the focuses you could pick from, like accuracy, assault rifles, bows, black powder weapons, grenades, long arms, machine guns, pistols, shotguns. That makes sense. You know what I mean? Accuracy is throwing and stabbing and, it's guns and ranged combat. Then there's communication, animal handling, disguise, etiquette, that kind of stuff, etc.
Basically, these are your +2s to your rolls.
Yeah. Anytime if you take a focus in something, you get a +2 in addition to your actual ability. So if you have Perception, empathy. If you have perception of 3 and you have empathy trained, then for an empathy test you would get 5. Bonus to the 3d6 roll. Then there's the background. You're going to choose a background. They get different bonuses depending on what you take. Your character's background provides the following benefits. Starting resource score, determined by your social class. External or personal bond points, determined by your social class. +1 to an ability score, so everybody gets that. A choice of 1 of 2 ability focuses. A choice of 2 talents. So talents are like feats a lot. I like talents better. Marvel, LOL. Yeah.
I was wondering if I had that Marvel book somewhere behind me. I forgot that their stats spelled out Marvel. Oh my god. That book.
I wonder how many days he was locked in a room with a thesaurus trying to make that fit.
I'll say it a million times. I love Matt Forbeck. That's the creator of that book. I love Matt Forbeck, and that is not my favorite of his work. I don't love that Marvel.
I haven't seen the completed work, so I can't fully speak on it. We saw the playtest. I kind of enjoyed the novelty of the 616 roll, even though I think it was just 3d6, but they call it, I don't know.
Yep, sure was.
There was a little bit of reaching with the tie-in there, but it's whatever. Here's the background descriptions. You could be an academic. You could be corporate. You can be all the typical stuff you would expect. You could be a sailor, probably, I'm sure. There are quick ways. Yeah. So there's mechanics, merchants, medics, all that kind of stuff. Then you have to pick your drive. That's step 5. Did I miss something?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, step 4. So professions are separate from background. Right. That seems right. That's the stuff like sailor, blacksmith, all that stuff. So there's that. That gives you focuses and talent choices. Blah blah blah. These are just essentially your Lego stacking until you make your character. They give you lists to choose from, and you get to make choices. But then there's drives. Drives are what drives your character. They have achiever, builder, caregiver, ecstatic, judge, leader, networker, penitent, protector, rebel, survivor, and visionary. Through these, you get some stuff, but it also helps you with roleplay, essentially.
I'm not sure if I have a drive in Fantasy Age 2 for my character. I'm not sure I ever wrote one down. Does Phage 2 have drives? Probably. It's part of the character creation in Age. I'm just not sure I ever wrote one down. Maybe I did write one down, and I just don't remember.
We'll investigate. We'll investigate.
Yeah. Let me figure that out.
They do your resources, equipment, all that stuff. So we'll fast forward through a lot of this. Bonds are like character bonds, personal bonds, that kind of stuff. So the character creation honestly doesn't take that long in Age. It's pretty simple. It's one of the faster ones, one of the simpler ones that I've ever experienced. This is what the character sheet looks like. It's a one-sheeter. With not a lot of big numbers on it.
It's a one-sheeter.
Yeah. Here's how you level up, all that kind of stuff. Here are your talents. Talents are like feats. You can be affluent, you can be a bookworm, bootlegger, you can have contacts, stuff like that. They have, I enjoy talents better than feats. I think talents trump feats for D&D. I always felt like the feats in 5th edition are very, it's not a very big list.
Yeah, no, they're pretty vanilla too. There's not really anything exciting on there. I used to love the advancements from 3.5, where you could take all the awesome split off classes. There were just so many different branches you could do.
Prestige classes? I love prestige classes.
Yes, I love big branching prestige classes like that. Where,
Me too.
You have to be a fighter and then also be trained in intelligence, and then you could be a battle mage and you get more stuff like that. That's... I like that kind of stuff.
Me too.
More classes, please.
This is a picture of a man that's about to box a vampire, it looks like. Just wanted to stop and highlight that. It's pretty cool. And then there's specializations. Oh, right. Specializations are essentially prestige classes. Yeah. They're like prestige class light, and you can take more than one over time. They're very cool. They have them in Fantasy Age, like Necromancer, that kind of stuff. Here you're going to have Academic, Agent, Alienist, Antiquarian. They don't all start with A, but that's all I'm going to read. Ooh, Gangster's one. That's cool. What? That lady's reading a book. Oh, Sorcerer. There you go, Gary. See, you can have magic.
When you said reading a book, I was like, I wonder if she's a librarian. Oh, no, a sorcerer. Okay.
You're going to like this page, Gary. The basic rules on Chapter 3, the cover. There's like a, hey, I'm walking here kind of guy with a hook hand fighting an Eldritch Horror in front of a car. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, hell yeah, there is. That looks great.
So
I like that.
We pretty much
1930s looking car.
We know how age works. We played it, so we'll kind of run through it quickly. Whenever you're making a test, you're rolling 3d6. You should typically make sure that one of them is a different color from the other two, because that's going to be what's called the drama dice, or the stunt dice. I think they changed it. They're now calling it the stunt dice. The number on the stunt dice can do a lot of things. It can reflect a degree of success. Like, if they're trying to defuse a bomb, maybe, they tick however much is on the stunt dice off of the total that they need to achieve to defuse it. I've done it that way before. It's pretty fun. But also, if you roll doubles on any of the 2 of the 3 dice, then you get the stunt dice worth of stunt points. Stunt points are then used to spend on stunts. They have social stunts, combat stunts, general stunts, exploration stunts, magic stunts, investigation,
infiltration.
And these can be anything from I deal extra damage, or I trip somebody, or I push somebody, to I shoot my gun again. Or what?
I gain extra attention.
Yeah.
Look at me, I'm taunting, or I'm passing a block to my ally. There's all sorts of cool things you could do with stunts. What this does to me versus a system like Dungeons and Dragons, where if you're a paladin and you've got the shield, every single round you're going to do the I block for my ally as a reaction thing, right? That's what you do. Or you can make a melee basic attack. That's it. That's what you're going to do. That's your whole shtick. In Age, these stunt die and having the different costs and stuff really pushes you to push your character out of the box and say, usually I would just do a block here, but I've got 6 stunt points, so what else might I do? And that actually helps not just in the game mechanics part, but it actually helps in the role-playing part. It pushes your character to do and try new things, and it might create a new personality for your character. If you become like a lightning attack person, if you become a slap person, that you may all of a sudden be the paladin who has double attacks, that may be your shtick. I like the stunts. I like what they represent. I like that they push you to make other choices beyond I want to do the thing. But I am guilty sometimes of spending my stunt points to give me just extra success. Like, I just want to do the thing. Take my stunt points. And you can use them that way. That's what's so great about them. They're versatile. They're lovely. They're wonderful. Love stunts.
The rules as written in this game say that you can barter for what you're doing with your stunt dice. Be like, hey, can I just kind of do this? And the DM, depending on how many you have, could be like, yeah, that's cool. Which I like to do a lot. It's very fun. So yeah, we got the degrees of success. We don't need to talk about that. There's basic tests, advanced tests, simple tests. Advanced tests are like,
we've got a request in the chat to do another art scroll through and show off some more of the art in this book real quick.
Yeah, no, I think she wanted to see a specific page, and I already went back to it.
Oh, never mind.
Here's another good one. There's some straight bang. If you want to see the other one again, just let me know. Challenge tests versus action time. Action time is just turn.
Full page, full color, full illustration. the other system was doing black and red minimalist, and while it looked great, I really appreciate these full half-page explosions. They remind me of Dungeons and Dragons covers, which have always been excellent.
Yeah, no, it's very cool. The guy in the white tux, he kind of looks like a character from Threefold, and since that's a multiverse game, it could be him, which is kind of funny to me.
Green Ronin, uses, I think, the same characters in most of their books.
Oh, that could be it.
The same, it's like the same 4 characters that are redesigned in all their books. They have names, and I used to know them, and I forgot them, and now I feel like I'm not a real Ronin.
Synth Weasel says, yeah, he's one of the recurring hero characters. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, no, I recognized him. He's on the cover of Modern Age as well. Yeah, I've noticed him a lot in Modern Age.
Mm-hmm.
Action time is just turn order, that kind of stuff. We'll go past all that. There are other actions you can take. Like you can do an all-out attack where you drop your defenses. You can run, you can defend, that kind of stuff. You can aim, which I've always appreciated. We'll go past a lot of the combat. We already explained how the rules work. I'm actually going to go back to the table of contents because I know that there's something that's unique there's a lot that's unique to this system, but to Cthulhu, I think they have like fear or something. Basic rules.
Probably something like madness, right?
Possibly. Oh yeah, here we go. Chapter 4, Glory and Fear. It shows you the stunts. Oh, maybe there's new stunts. That'd be cool. I'm going to go look at that. 98. It talks about bonds, spending stunt points, choosing stunts. We already told you about all. Yeah, here's a stunt table for you if you haven't seen one before. It looks like it has some different ones on it. I don't recognize Good Fortune or Area of Effect or Synergy or Deflection. I don't recognize a lot of these.
What did you say? What did I say that I didn't have in Fantasy Age? A bond or something like that? What was
bonds.
The terminology?
Yeah, you were asking if it was bonds.
It's not called a bond in Fantasy Age. They're called goals, and they have you write down like 3 goals. And it's in my goals section. I just opened Fantasy Age 2 and went and looked it up.
You guys do.
Because I was like, I know there's the same amount of character creation steps. Goals. Yep.
Yeah, it looks like a lot of stunts returns. It looks like they added some. They changed some out maybe. Chase stunts, all that good stuff. Exploration. Stunts are looking good here, man. And then there's something called Alienation, which is something that we have not experienced. Contrary to the obscure but persistent belief of the occult fringes encountering mythos entities, reading texts that convincingly upend the supposed laws of reality, confronting the dark miracles of sorcery, or witnessing alien gods do not drive you mad, at least not in the conventional sense. Madness is usually used as a casual term for mental illness, a phenomenon that is partly neurological, partly social, and entirely within the realm of ordinary human experience. Sometimes the word is used as a tool of discrimination to insult diverse ways of looking at the world. Okay, so this is them. They're not using madness, they're using alienation.
Yep. I was going to say, excuse me for saying madness, but yeah, that's exactly what's going on here.
A lot of games
My
use
bad,
the term madness. Yeah, it's a common. Yep. It's okay, man. You didn't mean anything by it, and hey, they're talking about it right now, so hey.
Hey. Yeah, I'm just here to own it, man. When I said it earlier, I didn't mean anything by it. We're cool. We're still cool. We're chilling.
Yeah. So they call it alienation. The sources of alienation, there's 4 sources. Each is a manifestation of a mythos through its para-natural creatures, its artifacts and twisted places, its forbidden lore, or through the outsiders themselves. Each source of alienation has a willpower focus associated with it. When confronted with the source, you must make an alienation test, using willpower plus the appropriate focus of the same source. So entities, to resist alienation, you have to use willpower courage. Visitations, willpower faith. Phenomenon is willpower morale. And then Revelations is willpower self-discipline. Alienation tests. Anything that triggers an alienation will ordinarily list the type of willpower test based on its source, as well as its target number, giving you what you need to roll. Each alienation test is a simple test that does not in itself generate or use stunt points. If you succeed an alienation test, the target number for each additional test, alienation test, regardless of category during the same game session, increases by 1. So the more alienated you are, it accumulates during a session. That's interesting. I like stuff that resets every session and accumulates throughout it. That's nice.
It's really nice for streaming.
It's really fun for streaming.
You look down and you're like, 35 minutes left. Let's go ahead and blow all these points. I get them back next week. I love that feeling. It's great.
Here are the alienations, TNs, and immunities. So I'll just read a couple of the examples for these just to give you an idea. So a marginal, the lowest target number of alienation. The plant life here is twisted by an unknown influence. This is a phenomenon. Frightening. This is several magnitudes more terrifying. Reading a police report on cult rituals. This can be a revelation. And that is middle of the road when it comes to the terror. And then an unspeakable, this is the highest level, Cthulhu leaves its temple. This is called a visitation. So they range from spooky plants to the Elder One appearing, which is pretty scary. You can accumulate alienation. When you fail an alienation test, you gain 1 point in both the terror and enlightenment bond for its matching category. So we're going to have to do more with bonds this game.
Terror and enlightenment bond.
Thus, if you fail a willpower courage alienation test upon encountering a Shoggoth, you gain 1 point each of terror and enlightenment bonds in the entities category. If you succeed at an alienation test, you don't gain these bonds. However, for every alienation test at which you succeed, the target number of the next test increases. There's distortions, losing yourself to alienation, permanent distortions. We actually should read distortions. After repeat exposure, I want to know what happens. Alienation adapts your psyche.
Yeah, too, especially when you said permanent distortions. I was like, I want to know what that means.
Hell yeah, dude. This is like Warhammer darkness points, man. This is awesome. Alienation adapts your psyche to the outsider's cosmos. This occurs when a failed alienation test increases any terror bond above 5. Instead, you decrease your terror and enlightenment bond in this category by 5 each. Resetting your terror to 0, but not necessarily your enlightenment. Though it is reduced, tempting you to damn yourself in order to recapture your prior insights and gain permanent distortions later in the section. Permanent distortions harden you to further change by lesser manifestations. However, each distortion takes your character a step closer to being claimed by the outsiders or twisted beyond recognition by the... So essentially, you just become a strange, alien-minded person the longer that you're dealing with this stuff. Very cool.
Do you lose... It sounds more like you lose control of your character and less like you gain extra limbs.
I think it's a little of both.
Okay.
I think it can physically change.
It transforms. I did hear the part where it says it transforms your psyche into like the physical cosmos of understanding. So maybe that would be something there. But I really did like that about the Warhammer system, using magic and having chaos bend and corrupt you in amazing, interesting ways. That was actually a lot of fun.
I loved Warhammer Fantasy Role-Playing Games corruption system. It was amazing.
I would go back and play that game again. That was pretty fun.
This next picture might be triggering for you, Gary. Page 108. Maybe don't look at it. I don't know.
Great. Not going to look. I actually don't have it up right now, and I'm just going to keep it minimized for now.
Yeah. Woman in a bathtub. You probably don't want to see it. But there's a really cool entity there with her, and it's pretty sick. Oh, okay. So they have things like terror stunts, Gary. The game master
Okay,
can
I like
spend
new stunts.
terror bond points on terror stunts that affect you. Oh, it is like dark points. All right, so the corruption points in Warhammer, I was allowed to spend them as the game master to screw with you. It sounds like as you're accumulating this stuff, I can spend it on these stunts. Terror stunts. 1 to 3 points. Greater.
Literally exactly what I was talking about for the Expanse.
Yeah, this is dope. Well, I mean, they're always perfecting age, which I love about it. Terror stunts, greater threat. The danger looms before you're greater than you realize. The SP the GM spends on the stunt becomes a penalty to your next test to understand or affect the bond source. Then there's, let's look at a couple of these. Temporary distortion. You gain a temporary distortion for the remainder of the encounter. You choose the distortion, though the GM must approve it, discouraging choices that wouldn't be relevant to the current situation. And then there are enlightenment stunts. Momentary clarity. Tracing back to before alienation soured your mind, you remember your old self. You are no longer affected by one temporary or permanent distortion for the remainder of the encounter. So it looks like there's a lot of stuff going on here with the stunts. They're going. I was wondering because I was wondering how much they were going to add in this book, and it seems like they added a lot. Because they didn't just give you age again. You know what I mean? They had to have done something. It seems like they did quite a bit here with fear and alienation. Fortune, which is an optional rule, which I typically use. Fortune and luck point kind of stuff. Revelations is chapter 5. It says fools call it magic. Eldritch Workings. This is where all that stuff is. Invoking Eldritch powers, so you can do that. So this is about how to cast Cthulhu magic. We're not gonna learn how to do it right now. That's not what we're doing right now. This is not a learn to play. You should check out our learn to play when we put it up. We're probably going to do one eventually for this game.
Yep. Yeah, this is just a first look, and
this is the first look.
I'm liking what we're seeing. I mean, it's age, it's Cthulhu age. It's exactly what I wanted it to be. Like I said, my problem with Cthulhu is just that I think it was more of a not knowing enough about the setting. Like when I'm seeing vampires and stuff, I'm like, okay, I'm about this. And when I'm thinking it's alien entities, I'm about this.
Yeah,
I think there's something here in this Cthulhu world for me.
Yeah, there are the games where you're dying at the end because the monster got summoned, but there's also the games where you're trying to escape and survive something and you can. It's not always the end of the world. It does. I mean, you played Dread. Yeah, you were at the treehouse when we played Dread that one time, right? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes
yeah,
it feels
Dread.
like that. You know what I mean? Like not a lot of people necessarily make it, but you can.
Right. Somebody might make it out alive.
There are Eldritch stunts that you could do while casting Eldritch Workings. There's all kind. Oh shit! Don't do that.
Yeah, do that.
There's a guy. So the guy in the white suit is pouring what looks like a bucket of blood into a stone sigil. I don't know. It doesn't look like a smart thing to do.
Yes, it does. He's filling up the labyrinth with blood so he can commence the summoning.
There's all kinds of so they get really into it, which I'm excited about here. This knowledge from beyond. So the following Eldritch Workings are a fraction of those which might exist. Each listed one of several possible rote versions of each. So here's an interesting thing that you can technically do. Angular travel. The Hounds of Tyndalos perceive time as a visible dimension, allowing them to move through time just as they move into angled space. Geometry practitioners have adapted this perception to allow time travel. Although this working theoretically provides full access to time travel to any desired point, in practice, Few sorcerers are capable of the mathematical precision to travel further than a few days. So it sounds like... So the effect is one willing traveler per casting rank moves to a point in the future or past up to 1 day per casting rank. You can do stuff like that in this game.
I can send us into the past?
You can send people into the past and future. Yes, there are rules for that in this game. That's insane.
Yeah, that's pretty sick, man. I'm not gonna lie. That's pretty sick.
I was wondering how hard he was gonna go, man. It looks like he went all the way.
What's up, Sundance Kid?
What's up, Sundance Kid? Just peeping this here Cthulhu age. And it's nuts.
Yeah, we just found out that you can cast time traveling spells, and I'm in, man. I'm gonna play a sorcerer when we play this, and I'm gonna go full with all my magic. I'm going ham. I'm gonna be the magic guy.
You would be the magic guy, the discoverer,
yeah.
the knower of secrets.
I want to be the guy who's just completely lost his mind, and he's just bananas with eldritch magic.
Bro, this dude. So this one's called Call Outsider, and the picture is this guy on a prayer rug, and this thing is showing up.
What is that horrifying bat monster? Oh
Dude.
my god!
It doesn't
Holy
have a face.
shnikes.
Yeah, this game is. I'm all in on this game.
That thing's a nightmare. Love it.
But man,
right.
they go
So I like
on
the
and on
art.
with this stuff.
I like the art. I like the system. I like these sort of absolutely bizarre eldritch things that have been added. I'm feeling Cthulhu age, my man. I'm feeling it. I'm sold. I told you to sell me, and you sold me.
I'm happy because this is something I really want to run one of these days. Maybe it'll replace Fantasy Age for a while for us. That could happen.
Yeah, I could see that being a Thursday game for a while. Yeah, it could be about that. Can I be? I know this is out of nowhere. Can I be a vampire in Cthulhu, or is that?
I don't think so, but maybe. There's some weird stuff. I don't know if they're actually vampires. They're like an approximation, maybe. They might be vampires. But, yeah. Is there a... Let me check to see if there's a creature compendium here.
Like, I want to be like Blade, you know? I want to be a vampire that's not a vampire.
Chapter 9 is called Entities. Let's see what kind of stuff they have here. Okay,
Yeah,
they have a bunch of
Sundance
stuff I
Second.
can't pronounce, and then like assassins and hooligans and stuff. Okay, so yeah, this game has the full flavor of Cthulhu. This is called Cthulhu Awakens from Green Run Publishing. If you're familiar with Age, this is everything that is, plus a lot of improvements. Looks like there's some quality of life improvements here, some updates to stunts, and then there is the inclusion of alienation stunts, enlightenment stunts, eldritch stunts, eldritch magic, eldritch workings, secrets.
Look, I know we're not supposed to bite the hand that feeds, right?
Yeah.
But when I read the Cyber Age thing,
The Cyber Slice, yeah.
Cyber Slice, I thought the Cyber Slice was a lot like Modern Age. There
Yeah.
was a lot of bleed over between the two.
Well, I mean, so
And when I
Cyber
read
Slice...
Cthulhu Age, I don't have that problem.
Yeah.
This doesn't seem like Fantasy Age. This doesn't seem like Fantasy Age 2 with copy-pasted stuff. This really feels strong. Cthulhu Age feels strong and tasty.
That's a good point. There probably are modern age rules for vampires that you could pull into here. Yeah, that's the other thing. These games do all work together. Not necessarily directly, but it's not too hard to hack it. I think the thing with Cyber Slice is that it's actually meant to be played as part of Modern Age. I think that's why there was so much bleed over.
There was a lot of bleed over.
There's a lot.
And,
There is. I think
know,
it's a
for better or worse.
supplement? I don't know.
I didn't love it. But I was afraid that Cthulhu Age, that's what I was saying. I was afraid it might be like Fantasy Age, but with like a whole lot of bleed over, you know?
Yeah.
But it does not appear to be the case. It does not appear to be a bleed over.
No, this is a completely
half of another
fresh
book.
game.
Looks pretty fresh, man. I'll give it the fresh out the box. I'll consider this completely fresh out the podcast.
I consider this fresh as well. It is everything we love about Age plus they added so much to just the gameplay of this that I'm very impressed with. And yes, like we said earlier, what were you saying?
I was going to say it's the art that we've come to know and love. It's the art that we expect. You know, it's up to standards. Yep, art's great.
The art is great. Yeah, like we said before, we are Green Ronin affiliates. We do hype them up, and we do benefit from that hype. But we do genuinely love their games. This game, written by a friend,
look, man,
who is an incredible writer.
Like a copy of Modern Age. You know, they don't pay us extra to say that. We're going to tell you the truth of how we feel about these books. I'm going to anyways. I think that's what you guys expect out of me. That's what I expect out of me, is to tell the truth. And the truth of this one, this looks great. Cthulhu Age really does look great.
If you pre-order the Cthulhu Awakens hard copy book, you can add on a PDF for an additional $5, and I think you immediately get the full PDF. If you use,
that's correct.
If you use code Fresh Out the Box at checkout, you get an additional 5% off of everything you order, even if you order everything on their store. You get 5% off, and then
please order everything.
Please order everything, yeah, because we also get we get a little kickback. You know what I mean? But yeah.
We get a little percentage of whatever you order. So if you go ham, we go ham. We love it. So, you know, buy books for your friends and your families and use our discount code. Give everybody you know a Green Ronin book. You know what I mean? Just hook it up and use our discount code.
Yeah, it's time to start Christmas shopping for your nerd friends. So hook it up with the Green Ronin. 'Tis the season.
And you don't just get one use. You don't just get 3 or 4. You could keep using this code. Keep using the discount code as many years as you want.
Yeah, the code doesn't expire. It is a full-time code. Anytime you use it on their store, we get something. And you get 5% off. So it's pretty cool. But yeah, this was a nice, spooky Halloween review show of 2 great games. Broken Tales from World Anvil Publishing and Cthulhu Awakens from Green Ronin Publishing. Both games we certified fresh. We like them both. We look forward.
Just like last week, we have one narrative system and one that's more crunchy.
Yeah.
If you had to take one of these home, Jahan, which one would you take home?
If I had to take one, I mean, this is my copy of Cthulhu Awakens because I paid for the special edition Kickstarter myself out of my own pocket. I did buy this book because I like it that much. So obviously I'm going to go with Cthulhu Awakens. That's no reflection on Broken Tales. They're up against like one of my favorite things. So it's just kind of like not fair.
I hate that 2 weeks in a row for these reviews that World Anvil has been up against some strong competition. I really did love Sagas, and I really like Cthulhu Age. If I'm taking one home, even though I love narrative systems, I'm bringing home Cthulhu Age. If there's a table and there's 2 books and I got to take one, Cthulhu Age.
To be fair, the copy that I paid for last time was the Anvil Publishing one. I bought that one with my own money from Kickstarter.
That's right. You bought Seasons, right?
I bought Seasons, yeah. Because I'm a big, that one won for me. So it looks like we agree this time. Last time, yeah. But hey, they're both great games. If you want a narrative system, get Broken Tales. If you want a crunchy Cthulhu game, that's actually not that crunchy. Like, it's not too hard at all. Character creation's easy. Gameplay is easy. Cthulhu Awakens is for you. Honestly, I don't feel like those 2 games really compete in the same space. They're completely different.
It's for the only reason I would put them up against each other is because we read them both.
Because we read them both today, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Otherwise, I never would have asked you if you had to pick one of these.
Yeah.
I would, compare 2 Cthulhu books, but I just think it's a fun experiment. We read these 2 books. If you could only have one, which one?
Yeah, I would choose this one.
Scratches that itch.
Because this one scratches all of my itch. But yeah, hey everybody, thanks for watching. Fresh out the box for your TTRPG review and reading needs. I have been the board game guru and game master extraordinaire, Jahananon.
And it's me, Casualty CDG co-host host of Fresh Out the Box and also Fresh Out the Podcast. That's where we talk about movies, video games, and streaming shows. Check out Fresh Out the Podcast. There's 105 episodes now available where all podcasts are available. But if you're more of a tabletop role-playing person, catch us every Thursday and Friday playing tabletop role-playing games right here on this channel. Generally, we play Thursdage is one of our Green Ronin Age games. And Friday right now, every other Friday, we are looking at Avatar Last Airbender by Magpie Games. We're playing that. We have a little party together about to start a 10 shot, so tune in every other Friday for that. Otherwise, we'll be reading books and painting miniatures and just hanging out with you guys. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you for the support. Don't forget to order Green Ronin books, as many as you can possibly afford. Drive yourself broke, go into debt, and have a great day.
Thanks, everybody. Stay fresh.